Okay. It was this cultural, everybody was talking about it. And you have to remember at that time, we didn't have a million YouTube channels where you could pick your content creator and really focus on a lot of maybe more motivational or business or market or just finding other things to listen to other than the news. In my 20s, I was really good at this. Of course, I knew about 9/11. I knew about all these big events that had happened, but for the most part, I wasn't tuned into the news every day. And then something happened to me during COVID. I started watching the news every single day and getting fixated on those numbers and the graphs and all the updates and what's going on today. Can we go? Is everybody still masking up? I was so obsessed with all of the updates, the medical updates, the government updates, the tyranny, all this stuff that I look back and I would say that I spent too much time. I don't regret the time that I spent learning all the medical reading all the medical papers because I'm a mom. I was worried about my kids, right? So I really wanted to know what the actual threat was to my family before I made a decision on anything. And that's exactly what I did. I and when for people that know me, when I research stuff, I am pretty obsessive about it. And I really dive in and I learn through osmosis and I obsess on a topic. And that's exactly what I did at that time. So I know that my tendency is to obsess and over research and over get too much data, too much knowledge, too much information before taking action. I probably lean on that side more, to be honest. It comes in useful. I do like it. I do like having that experience and multiple sources confirming things before I move forward, which I absolutely have learned from being in insurance. You work in insurance, you don't just look up one document. You want to look up this document and that and make sure they all match. And does it match the bill? Does it match the renewal? Does it match? Does everything match? Okay, great. Then, okay, approve. And you want to have checks and balances. So these things have served me very well. But in the current state of the world and with all of the drama that's going on, it feels like the most interesting reality show I've ever seen, and I see the headlines. I see it through osmosis, not because I'm seeking out the information, but because it's just there. If you go on YouTube, the only real social media network I go on is YouTube on a regular basis. I'm off Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn. I do post on those things. I use a third party vendor and I actually pay somebody to do the posts for me. It's an AI system that takes my video, splits it up for me. I trust I am protecting my mind and I'm getting better about shutting out the news. And the reason I bring this up is because when you have big, beautiful goals, big, hairy, audacious goals, there's no time for trying to keep up with other people's drama. And I try to keep my personal drama at a minimum because I cannot have inconsistencies in my life. The way that I will be successful and continue to be successful is to be as consistent as possible. If I have constant inconsistencies and dramas within my life, my likelihood of making progress is therefore diminished. And I'm working so hard, and I have worked so hard that no one and no one's else's story is worth it to me. For me to get engrossed in everybody else's story or some storyline, some plot line that's going on out there in social media land, for me to know all the ins and outs of it, what good does that do me? Really? And I know that a lot of people sound selfish or sound like I'm sticking my head in the sand. I am not sticking my head in the sand. For anybody that knows me, I have, like I said, I've done extensive research. I'm probably at least 10 to 20 years ahead of what a lot of people are saying now, and I already know. I have so much damn discernment, and I have earned this discernment. I can almost look at a headline and know what it is without even reading it, because I understand the players, I understand the forces at play, and for me to put my attention on those negative forces is going to do me absolutely no good. I need to be out here continuing to work my ass off for myself, for my clients. My clients need good people to work with. Where are they gonna go if I go away? Not saying I'm the only good one out here doing what I do, but I'm pretty damn good, and I know I'm honest, and I know I'm not out there doing all these other things that some people are doing. So, we as Americans, entrepreneurs, small business owners, need to put our best foots forward and offer better products and better services and be better and hold ourselves to better, bigger, better standards and hold those around us to bigger and better standards. And if they can't keep up, then there will be consequences. And of course, you need to hold people accountable and do all those things. But I'm not in law enforcement. I'm a woman. I'm over here raising kids and running a business. I believe that I am better served, my family is better served, and the community is better served if I focus on positivity and focus on building my business and building me and my household to be as strong as possible, to be able to weather whatever storm may be around the corner or may not be around the corner. Doesn't mean that I'm not prepared in certain ways, but I'm not going to focus on it. I'm not going to focus on the downside. I think it does very little. I think being and all these things is very short-sighted, and I think I've said enough about that. My point is that it's all trying to pull your attention away from being productive. And I know when I say the word productive, it sounds like I'm trying to be Tony Robbins or something, which I'm not, or trying to be some personal development person. Productivity, the word productivity, I think has some negative associations with some people. And to me, it just means being creative. A lot of times I'll ask myself, are you being more creative? Are you creating more? Or are you consuming more? It's a very simple spectrum. Creativity is on one side, consumption's on the other. If you're spending more than 50% of your time consuming and less than 50% of your time creating, you're probably out of balance. You're probably pretty miserable. You're probably starting to get depressed. I find that for myself, if I am not being creative, being productive, when I say creative, I mean productive, my time that I spent on something, I have something to show for it and being creative, whether it's a painting, writing, making a video, talking to a friend through a problem, being useful in some way, being creative with solutions. There's lots of ways to be creative and productive. It doesn't have to just be monetary. But I find that if I have that more than 50%, I'm a lot happier. I don't get depressed. I might get a little bit more anxious because I'm pushing myself, which there's some reframing I have around that too, but that might be a different day, a different topic. My point is, please don't let yourself get distracted, because in 10 years, when you look back on 2026, are you going to say, oh man, I wish I would have known more about what was going on with politics? No, you're probably going to say, man, I wish I would have pulled my head out of my ass and really worked on that thing. I bet I could have done something with myself or done something with that project. Or I really go to the end of the road a lot of times, almost on a daily basis now. I call it my rocking chair test. I talk to the 80-year-old version of myself and she's on a porch, she's in a rocking chair, and she's giving me advice. And sometimes she says, "Honey, you are not gonna remember this. This is just a little tiny rock in your shoe. You're not even gonna remember the day you had to pull the rock out of your shoe. It's not a big deal. Just move on. Just keep." And a lot of times the message is just keep moving, just keep pushing. Even if you don't know exactly what the direction is, the map is, what the GPS is, you don't know every single turn. A lot of times we have a compass. It's an internal compass. We know which direction we should be going. For the most part, we know what general activities we should be doing. And sometimes, if I don't know what to do, I'll just journal it out, journal it out. Sometimes I'll even write a song. I've been writing songs with Suno. I spent probably 6 months where every day I wrote a song, and I would read a book at night, Huckleberry Finn or Tom Sawyer or some classic. I did The Secret Garden with my daughter, and I would find if I read at night a classical book like that, even if it was just a chapter, I'd go to sleep, I'd wake up, my writing would be better. And that was a really cool experience. And so sometimes when I feel that I'm consuming too much to get my creative spark moving, I might go in there and write a silly little song. And sometimes that helps me spark up and get the creative spark lit back up. What?